Welcome folks to a beautiful afternoon here at the Academy. My name's Warren Bennett, hope everyone's keeping well. This video we're going to talk about the most destructive shot in golf, which is the shank. Now, if you're suffering from a shank, you know how much it can deplete your confidence very, very quickly. So in this one I'm going to give you a surefire way to stop shanking, so you can get back out on the golf course, get some confidence and start playing golf. I'm going to get set up inside and I'll see you in there in a bit. Folks, thanks for sticking around. I actually decided to do it outside now. It's such a beautiful afternoon and might as well take advantage of the sun, which we haven't seen for a long time. So like we said before the intro, we're dealing with the shank, which is extremely destructive and it can actually zap your confidence pretty quickly. Actually, I've got a story at the end of this video that I had a shank on tour. Funny to look back on, pretty embarrassing at the time, so stick around at the end of the video, I'll tell you all about that one. Okay, so what I'd like you to bear in mind is this is a quick fix. This isn't going to cure your whole golf swing, but when you're suffering from a shank, you don't want to go out on the golf course. I'm going to give you a few pointers so you can get back out and play golf, because trying to change your golf swing is going to take a long time. So this one is just for you to get back out on the golf course, stop shanking, give you back some confidence so you can go out and play golf and have no fear of shanking again. So let's get to it. But first you've got to understand why you shank. Now the majority of people, as you can see here, we've got some alignment sticks down on the ground. So the black one is our ball to target line, pretty straight. The green one is the one that comes from out to in, and the white one is in to out. The majority of people who suffer from a shank are the ones that go out to in. So they're outside, they're coming back down to the ball over the top, which is the green line, and they can't get the club face back to the ball in time, so they hit the hosel. I will be talking about the guys who are potentially from the inside too much. Now, how do you know which one you are? Well, the golf ball will tell you that. So if you're a person that suffers from a slice or a big pull every now and again, you're the person that's going to be this outside, the green stick. If you're someone who suffers from a hook, so the ball starts right, or a big push every now and again, you're going to be the person that suffers from the plane that's too inside coming this way and out. But firstly, I'm going to talk about the majority of people who are out to win. So if you're that person that suffers from over the top, so the change of direction, the transition down into the ball, the hands and club go too quickly out that way, well, there's a number of videos on the channel to help you with this transition to drop it a little bit more from the inside. But that isn't going to help you overnight. So what we're talking about in this video is we're going to try and get you out the golf course straight away, and then you can work on the technical stuff and the stuff that takes a long time away from the golf course, because this video is all about you getting on the golf course straight away. Before I give you the main tip, I'm going to give you a few setup feelings which is really going to help. The first one being, if you can keep your weight off your toes. So what we always hear, we hear quite a lot of getting the weight on the balls of your feet, but for you guys, I want you to get the weight more straight through your ankles and keep them there throughout the whole swing. The people who shank, and especially people who come over the top, they tend to kind of get a little bit forward with their weight on their toes, and then from there they're backing away. So always keep your weight back onto your ankles all the way through the swing. Keeping my weight back is going to encourage these hands to drop, and that's what you're trying to feel here without you feeling it. So weight back on your toes is going to feel really weird, because your tendency will probably want to go this way, but keeping way back. And the more you can keep back on your heels, the more your arms want to drop down instead of away from you. So that's tip number one. Number two with the setup, get a little bit higher here. You don't want to crouch over, especially the tension will get you a little bit closer to the ball than you should. So stand up nicely, nice and tall, allow your arms to stretch. What you're wanting to achieve is room for your arms to drop. And the third one, before we go on to the main tip, is tension. Now, we all suffer from it, don't get me wrong, but if you can get your tension out of your hands, it's really, really going to help. If you're squeezing the grip too much, it's going to really throw you out here and encourage your body to do too much work. Because remember, what you're trying to do without you probably feeling it right now, is you're wanting to allow these arms to drop down a bit more instead of this way. and tension was the #1 killer, and that's throughout your whole game. That's putting, chipping, everything. If you grip really tight with your hands, tension goes into your arms. And a really good tip actually is if you try and squeeze the grip, take your grip, squeeze it as hard as you can, so it's like 10 out of 10 in tension, and then let go, you can feel it in your arms. Squeeze as hard as you can and then let go, and you can feel your muscles relaxing in your arms. So the 3 things: weight back on your heels throughout your whole golf swing, stand a bit taller so you're not reaching over that way, and then nice light smooth grip here. Keep it nice and light. So they're the 3 kind of main things I'd encourage you to do. So let's get on to the main tip. So they're the 3 little feelings you've got. Always bear those in mind. This may seem pretty simple but very important. Now let's get to it. So got the golf ball here. Now I'd say give yourself maybe 10 golf balls to get used to this. So let's get started. Got a golf ball here. I'm going to put a tee slightly on the inside. So that's probably half a golf ball from the inside there. I'll show you a close-up in a minute. Okay, like you saw in the previous shot, golf ball down. I'm going to put a tee inside the golf ball. Maybe just half an inch inside. Maybe a little gap here. If you're playing off a mat, you can turn it upside down and do it that way. It's going to give you the feedback that you need, that you can tell you're going to hit from the inside. Now what the essence of this exercise now is to try and hit the tee with the middle of the club face. So remember what you're doing when you're shanking. Your hands and club are going further away from you when you strike the golf ball. So this way I'm encouraging you to swing down on the inside so you're hitting more on the inside of the golf ball and hitting the toe. Let's give this one a go. So address the ball. Now I'm going to look at the tee and try and hit the tee in the middle of the face. That may have sounded pretty clunky, it felt pretty clunky because it came right out the toe here. And if the tee moves, you know you've actually come and given you some feedback. You come from the inside. Great exercise, gives you some feedback. Let's try another. A little bit on the inside. Normal setup. Don't address the tee, address the ball. A little bit higher, weight back on my heels, so like my whole swing, keep it back. You can see here, it gives me more room. If I put my weight on my toes, crouch over, there's no room for my hands, they're going to want to throw out. So keep nice and tall, back on my heels. Now I'm going to hit that tee. I'm going to encourage my hands to drop here and hit the tee. So I should hit it right out the toe. So I can actually see the tee is actually still there. And the divot's this side of the tee, so I've hit it right out the toe. One more. Up, heels, light grip. Hit the toe. No, hit it right out the toe there. Okay, so if you're out in the golf course, you can't put a tee inside your golf ball, obviously, breaking the rules. So what you can do, you can actually just focus on a blade of grass on the inside of the golf ball and focus hitting that blade of grass. It's kind of a little mind trick. It might take a few shots to get used to that, because a human being obviously is seeing that golf ball out in front of us and going towards it. What this is encouraging you to do is swing a little bit more vertical in the transition. Right, so what's been mentioned is you can't play golf hitting it out the hosel. You can play golf hitting it out the toe, and what this exercise does, it gets you hitting it out the toe. It may not cure your golf swing, it may not cure all your faults, but this video isn't about that. This video is, you may still feel like your club's coming outside, but it's going to get the club back online. So it might not cure all your faults, but it's going to get you out there playing golf. Let's talk about the guys that come from the inside too much. Right folks, if you suffer from a block, so starting the ball too far to the right, or you're hooking it, starting it right, you've got something called tipping out if you suffer from a shank. So if you can see the sticks on the ground, the black one being the ball to target line straight, if you're coming down on the inside, so completely opposite to the person that comes over the top, so why and how can you shank from there? If you're coming from the inside, but at the very last minute your club goes on the outside, it's going to hit the hosel. That's what's called tipping out. You're tipping the heel out to the ball. So that's what's happening. Your club's coming from the inside, but your hands and arms and club face are going too far away. So from here, what I'd like you to feel is your rotation of your trunk. So your trunk being your torso, belly button. So from here, you turn through the ball. So now you've got the club not going away from you, you've got the club arcing around you. And that's what you're trying to achieve. Keeping the club from the inside to square, back to inside again. So you've got this little V. So if I can get the green stick quick. So I'm going to grab the green stick just for reference. So now I've got this V here. So you're coming down from the inside, which I would encourage, but you then don't go away, you go around again. But to help that, you don't just drag your hands across you do it by the rotation of your trunk if you can. So encourage the belly button to turn. So a great exercise to do is to get the club into your belly button. Take your normal arm and hand position. So you're kind of pushing the club a little bit into your belly, and then obviously small back swings, you can't go very far anyway, and then rotation round. From the front way it's going to look like this. So I've got the club into my belly button, small little back swings, you can't go very far because the club will come away from your belly. Rotation round. The golf club in your hand, it will look like this. That's what's called exiting left. So that's what I'd encourage you to do. Start small, get the club coming from the inside. A few practice swings, feel the rotation of the body. That's the steering wheel for the golf swing for you guys. Keep the body turning so the arms are now connected. If this stops, that's going to carry on and you're going to shank it by tipping out. So folks, if you're watching this video and you're either one of those people that come over the top or inside, give those two feelings a go. If you're playing golf tomorrow or the following day, I would encourage you to come to the golf course a little bit earlier, get some rehearsal swings under your belt. It may raise its ugly head again, more than likely it will, but hopefully these little feelings will stop the panic setting in and get you through that round. Long-term change does take a while, and changing of your golf swing takes a while, so these exercises and these feelings are an absolute mustard. So keep with it. I know your confidence will be pretty low at the moment, but these exercises will start the process and get you on the straight and narrow. Okay everyone, thank you very much for watching. Oh, by the way, I'm going to tell you my story in a minute. I'm going to actually do it inside, so I'll see you in a minute. Okay, I thought I was going to get away with that then, but anyway, I don't mind. Hey, we're all human and it happens, and when you get into a bad habit, and if you're watching this and you're suffering from a shank, your habit is a shank at the moment. That doesn't mean it's long term. You can kind of solve it, get rid of it. Some people take longer than others, some people it stops overnight. But one thing I would encourage you to do is to practice it and practice those feelings. You don't have to go on the practice area all the time. You can do practice swings at home, but all in all, I'd say keep with it, keep consistent, keep the continuity of what you're working on the same, and you will come out the other side. Okay, so good luck with everything. Hope it all helps. So my story, now I think it was 2002. It was the last tournament of the European Tour year, which I think was the Italian Open in Rome. First day washout, from what I can remember. So I'm on the first tee, first round, and I think my playing partners were Graham McDowell and Brian Davis. That may be wrong, but rings a bell. Iron, I think it was like a 2-iron layup hole. Luckily there wasn't that many people. Well, I say that, there was enough. One was enough with the shot I just hit. So I hit this shot, and I can't remember if I was first, second or third off, but I hit this shot and it was a pure shank. You know, the actual pure shank you hit. It wasn't just one of those that you can kind of get away with and it goes 150 yards down the middle, a little bit skanky. This wasn't a pure acute shank that nearly took about 3 or 4 caddies out. And it hit a tree about 30 yards ahead of us on the tee, and it hit it middle stump, and it came back like with an echo of just the embarrassment of hitting this tree, and it came back and it rolled down on the tee ahead of us and stopped, and I'm no word of a lie, it stopped 10 yards ahead of us on the tee. So it was like, I'd rather have the thing gone out of bounds. It was so embarrassing. And I can feel that to this day, that embarrassment. Now, the worst thing is I had to go and peg it, well, not peg it up, I had to hit that ball in front of us with an iron again. So that was my little story of my shank. Very embarrassing, and I'm sure those guys have forgotten about it, but I haven't. But it was all fun and games. Hey, and we're only human, and it happens. So what you've got to try and do is to try and stop the snowball and let it happen too many times. And hopefully these little tips will help. And I really hope they do. Everyone, thank you very much for watching. Hope everyone keeps well and safe. And we'll see you on the next one. Cheerio.